you've got to get the people to love praying to you so you can feed off their energy. That's what gods do. That's how they become gods. They feed off you. It's a feeding mechanism. Prayer, ritual, it's all feeding. People are projecting their energy to that God. It's not an equal, loving relationship with that entity. There's going to be rewards in it for you, but it's not what you think it is. It all depends on how much you understand, how deeply you understand the concept of what an entity is trying to achieve when it presents itself to a planetary population or a cosmic reality. You see, within the universal construct, because it's a universe of contrasting expressions, we have an entity that has to come in from the universe, not be of this universe, but claim to be this universe. Do you understand that concept? You also have, below here, you have the creator of this universe expressing itself as the foundational energetic pattern for the grand cosmic arena. So this is a reflection of that. It's contrasting. So this is the lower aspect, if you want to look at it hierarchically speaking, of the creator expressing itself here, which facilitates the grand cosmic arena and all the fun and games that go along in this fun park. Now within this arena, you have an entity that started to create its own version of light. It has to be this way. It's the way the universe works. And this then provides all the programs of challenge for all the beings that enter into it. It's genius. So ultimately, this entity that's the creator of this is actually working for that, even though its own ego construct will never admit to that. You get it? It's genius. So in the great arena, we have the great void. So just what we're looking at now is from the great void down. That's it there, there's a great void. So we have this is the best way visually I could explain it at this stage. I can't think of another way at this stage. So we have what's called, and please don't get that wrong, I hope religious ideology is not going to get in the way here. This is also known as the Great Dragon. It has to do with an expression of the universal creator that can hold love and knowledge in balance. That's why you have the rainbow serpent. That's why you have the feathered serpent. That's why you have the famous winged dragon throughout cultures, throughout the ages. It is the great serpent or the great dragon throughout cultures is known as the life force that is the foundational template that facilitates the grand cosmic arena. This is beyond religious ideology, okay? Here you have an entity that's claiming to be the creator of all that is and all that exists. So what I'm asking you is not to get that mixed up with a serpent in the Bible, even though there's an element connected to it. There's a thread of truth in it, okay? But I don't want you to have that as a dominating factor so it doesn't taint what I'm trying to explain here to you. So you've got the negative charge in the arena and the positive charge in the arena. That charge of energy was the one that could facilitate this. And because this entity is claiming to be the creator of all these and all that exists, it needed to create its own version of light energy. And so within its own synthetic construct, it's created the god of religion versus the serpent of religion, Satan. It's a dialect. It's got its own positive and negative arena that it's created, and it's sucking people into it. Try not to get caught up in God versus the devil, because see, this is the problem. Too many people are caught up in this. They can't see past that arena. They're caught. You know when you get dragged into an argument between two friends? Sometimes you get caught up in it. And you can't see beyond the argument. And you're left bouncing from one to the other. It's the same kind of thing. This God entity has created this dialectic of God versus the devil, and everyone's caught up in it. It's an arena that's been created. Because if you ever heard of problem, reaction, solution? Okay, so it needs to create the problem because it wants to provide you with a solution. So here we have the negative charge it's creating, which is all yucky and, devil stuff, because ultimately it wants to bring you over here to this beautiful, positive, apparently loving arena that it wants you here. So it'll create the positive charge here, but it has to have the negative here. It imposes this on you, which then forces you to look over here. It's hurting you. It's funneling you in that direction. That's what that dialectic is designed to do. Remember, we're dealing with the best cosmic conqueror this universe has ever seen. There is no better than that entity right now, and it's called God. God is the problem. God is not the creator. God is the problem, it's the virus. Because those three letters, G-O-D, were given to us by the priestly caste. And they're telling you that those three letters are attributed to the creator. The question people aren't asking is, where did we get those three letters from? And why do we use those three letters, attributed those three letters to the creator? Because words are keys. Words are vibrational patterns. See? Words are vibrational patterns. They're portals. They're keys that open up portals, interdimensional portals. And that OMG business has do you know how many energetic deposits that entity is receiving on a daily basis on the planet? Whenever someone says, oh my God, because something occurred in their life and then they attribute that experience to that entity. And in the Islamic religion, they say God willing. So it's the will of God that attributes every action that takes place in their life. So they're completely giving their power over to this entity. It's owning them totally. And they're not owning any of their co-creative process. They're not owning it. Because apparently that entity is in control of everything, and that's a total lie. This is the problem. I recommend, joyfully, somewhat passionately, not to use that word for a day or a week. See how you go, and then become aware of how many people around you are using it. If you have a beautiful, loving relationship with the creator of this universe, and that's just a descriptive title, the reality is that entity has no name. The moment you start putting names, that's trouble. The moment there's names involved. Yahweh is another name for this entity, the God entity. Allah is another name for it. I mean, we got serious problems in this world. We do. Every culture has a name for it. And they're all doorways and portals, but they're all heading to the same arena. It's like a building with multiple doors entering, but they're all attached to that building. And each doorway on that building has its own advertising campaign, and you're walking around that building and, oh yeah, Buddhism. No, I don't like that. Christianity. No, I don't like that. Islam. No, I don't like that. But eventually you come across one. Freemasonry. Oh, I like that. There's no difference between any of them. Because spirit fire in Freemasonry is Kundalini in the New Age movement and the Eastern religions. It's the Holy Ghost in Christianity. Same program, over and over and over again. Marketed differently to suit different mindsets, different periods of time. So this distortion has really made its way in to this process, even into your internal arena.